Welcome to the class students. Today we are going to start the new chapter, chapter 2, tissues, the building blocks of life. First chapter we have completed cell, the structural and functional unit of life, and the next chapter is tissues. So let me see here what are the topics involved in this in the chapter overview. Introduction, the tissues and their definitions, then types, plant tissues and their types again, meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Further types of meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues are also there along with the function. And last topic will be the animal tissues, major types with the structure and function. So we'll start with the tissues. What is the tissues? You know, children, that the body of an organism has several types of cells. Cell is the basic unit of life, you have studied in the previous chapter. So body of an organism has several types of cells, and cells of each type serve a specified function. So cells having a similar role form a unit which is known as the tissues. So these various tissues of an organism work in coordination with each other to perform the life processes. So what are the tissues? A group of cells that are similar in structure and function and having a common origin. This is known as the tissues. Similar cells performing similar functions. They are known as the tissues. And the study of tissues and their functions is known as the histology. This branch of biology which deals with the study of tissues and function is called as histology. One more thing is there, that the plants are able to produce new tissues throughout their life. Why? Because you know, plants, they grow throughout the life. The difference between plants and animals you have studied in the previous classes. Plants, they show growth throughout their life. Animals, they do not, because growth is stopped in them after some times, means after certain time period in their life. So animals, they do not show this tissue production throughout their life. Repair is there, means damaged tissue develops into this is damaged tissues replaced and develop into the new one, but they do not produce the tissues throughout their life. Now the types of tissues, as the living organism, they are divided into the two major categories, plants and animals. So tissues are also two types, plant tissues and animal tissues. Now we'll start with the plant tissues. Plant tissues, they are divided on the basis of their stage of development and dividing capacities. First, into two categories, meristematic and permanent. Meristematic tissues, they are the growing tissues, grows throughout the life, continuously they divide. Permanent tissues, they stop division and they are further develop into the new tissues as per their functions. Meristematic tissues further, they are divided into the three parts, apical, lateral and intercalary, on the basis of their position in the plant. Permanent tissues further, on the basis of composition, they are of two types, simple permanent and complex permanent. Simple permanent tissue is made up of same types of cells. Complex permanent tissue is made up of the different cells, different shape, and as well as the functions are also there. Simple tissues, they are divided into the different types, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma and protective tissue. And complex permanent tissue is of two types, that is phloem and xylem. So let me start with the first type of tissue, meristematic tissue. What is the meaning of meristematic tissue? In Greek word meristo means divided. So this meristematic tissue is a group of young cells that have the capacity of active cell division, means cells of this tissue, they divide continuously, and this tissue is found in all the growing parts of the plant such as root tip and shoot tip. So let me see the characteristics of the meristematic tissue. They are living, cells. Compactly packed means no intercellular spaces. What are intercellular spaces? The space between the two cells. This is intercellular space. So there is no intercellular space in between the cells of the meristematic tissue, hence they are compactly packed. Thin walled, cell wall is thin, small cells, so size of the cell is small, and cuboidal in shape, so the shape of the cell is cuboid like. They have granular cytoplasm, means cytoplasm with granules and dense. Large prominent nucleus is present in between them, and immature. The cells are immature, undifferentiated cells continue to divide indefinitely. Undifferentiated means work is not allotted to them. Functions are not given to them. So they are undifferentiated, not a particular function. They are one function only. They divide continuously. So similar in shape and the one function only to divide continuously. But after maturation, before maturation they are meristematic cells. After maturation of meristematic cell, they transformed into the permanent tissues. So meristematic tissue after maturation, they change into the permanent tissues. Now the types of meristem, according to their positions in the plant body, they are of three types: apical, intercalary and lateral. So what are the apical? They are located at the growing tip. You can see in the diagram apices of the stem, roots and their branches, and in the growing young leaves, also on the tip of axillary bud. So they are present at the apex. They are apical meristem. Intercalary meristem, this intercalary meristem, they are the parts of apical meristem which get separated from the apex, and they are present at the base of the nodes, and at the internodes they are present. So they are present here at the base of the leaves and the branches. So these are the intercalary meristem. Then we will come to the lateral meristem. What are lateral meristem? They are present at the sides. So lateral meristem occurs on the sides of the roots and stems. So this is the location. Now let me see the function. Again there along with the location. So apical meristem present at the growing tips of shoot apex meristem, and the root also at the root apex meristem. What is their function? As they are present at the apex part, so due to growth of apical meristem, there is increase in the length of stem and root. They are responsible for primary growth. Intercalary meristem is there. Intercalary meristem, they are present at the base of leaves or internode, and they increase in the length of organ like leaves and internode. So they are responsible to increase the growth where in the length of the organ, leaves and internodes. They are intercalary meristem. Causes the elongation of organs, basically mostly the base of nodes, internodes and leaves. Next we will come to the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem, they are found in woody trees and the plants, occurs on the sides as I discussed earlier also. So they are responsible for increase in diameter and girth of the plant of root and stem. So these tissues are responsible for thickness, growth in thickness by the addition of secondary tissues, and this phenomenon is known as the secondary growth. Here the primary growth, the first growth in the plant which takes place. Secondary growth which takes place further when the plant turns into the trees and the woody that plant. So there it takes place. This is responsible for secondary growth. Some plants grow in thickness by producing new tissue laterally from root tip to shoot tip with the help of vascular cambium. So vascular cambium is the type of lateral meristem. Cork cambium is also there, which is present in bark of the roots and stem. So you know the woody trees, they have outer hard covering in the stem, that is the bark. So there also the type of meristem present, that is cork cambium. So this cambium of vascular bundle and cork cambium, they are the examples of the lateral meristem. Cork cambium and vascular cambium. Cork cambium found beneath bark and vascular cambium found in vascular bundles. Now we'll see the permanent tissue. What are permanent tissue? Permanent tissue is made up of cells which have lost their ability to multiply, means they do not divide further, and in which the growth has either stopped completely or for the time being. Means either stopped completely or for the time being means when some damage is there at that time, the new cells are formed in that region. So these are the permanent tissues. Now their cells may be dead or living. Like in meristem, we have studied the living cells are only present. Now on the basis of functions performed by the permanent tissues, they are of three types: supporting, means provide support; conducting, they conduct the water, mineral and food; and protective, means they provide protection. So this is functional division. But on the basis of composition, means the types of cells are present in them. On that basis, they are divided into two groups: simple permanent and complex permanent. Simple permanent tissue, they have the similar types of cells, and complex permanent tissue is made up of more than one type of cells. So they are complex permanent tissue. So we will start with the simple permanent tissue, which is you can call it the supporting tissue also. And this supporting tissue has further types: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and the protective tissue. So we'll start with the parenchyma. What is the meaning of parenchyma? Para means beside here, and enchyma, from which the chyma, enchyma is made up of infusion. So these the cells of this tissue is the thin walled. So cells of this tissue, they are thin walled, oval. Thin walled means the cell wall is thin, rounded, maybe polygonal in the shape. They are loosely packed. So you can see the intercellular spaces in between the cells. So they are loosely packed. Intercellular spaces are present between the cells. Each cell encloses a single large nucleus. Nucleus is present in the cells in the center, and vacuole is also present in them. You can see this is the vacuole, and the central vacuole is there, and the nucleus is also present along with the cytoplasm. You can see here, this is nucleus, this is vacuole, large vacuole in the center of the cell. Parenchyma is found in soft part of the plant, like epidermis, cortex, pith, which is the central region, cortex, which is the outer region of the roots and stem, and leaf mesophyll, means found in stem, root and leaf, everywhere, and also found in xylem and phloem also. So understood structure and function, distribution of location of the parenchyma. Now what is the function of this parenchyma tissue? It stores food material, like in potato, sweet potato, provides support also, because we call it as the supporting tissue also, and it is the basic packaging tissue. Okay, forms the bulk of the body. So it is basic packing tissue. And one more thing here, students, that in the leaves of green plants, that parenchyma tissue has chlorophyll in it, means chloroplast is present in it. So in this case, it is known as the chlorenchyma also. When the chlorophyll is present in them, then they help in photosynthesis, and at that time they are called as chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, these cells have well developed air spaces. These intercellular spaces, they are more in the aquatic plant, and they develop into the air spaces. So provide them buoyancy, help them in floating. So there this tissue is known as the parenchyma. So in hydrophytes, parenchyma have the large intercellular spaces to keep up buoyancy. So understood, children? Parenchyma, structure, their location and their function. So each tissue you have to learn in these 3 points. Number 1, structure, that just now I have discussed. Location, where they are found in the plant body. And third is the function. Now next we will see the collenchyma. Collenchyma tissue, in Greek word kol means glue and enchyma means infusion. Means these cells are actually attached with each other very closely. You see there is no intercellular space. So the cells of the collenchyma, they are living one, somewhat elongated with cellulose thickening. Here you see the wall thickness here. Everywhere you see the walls are thickened at the corners. So cellulose thickening at the corners, and internally each cell has the large vacuole in the center and peripheral. Here the cytoplasm. Nucleus is also present in it. This is nucleus, this is vacuole, and this is the thickened cell wall. So this is the characteristic feature of the collenchyma. And flexibility in the plant is due to collenchyma tissue, because it allows bending of stems and leaves without breaking them. So this thickening is there which provide the here the flexibility to the plant. So understood, children? This is collenchyma tissue structure. Now the distribution. Where are they found? They are found beneath the epidermis in the stem and petiole or the leaf stalk, base of the leaf, that is leaf stalk of dicot plant, and it is usually absent in the monocot plant. Functions are there: supporting tissue, support plant by providing tensile strength, it provides flexibility, so provide tensile strength and rigidity to the plant due to thickening of the cell wall. This wall thickening makes it elastic and provides tensile strength and rigidity to the plant. It provides elasticity also. So this is transverse section, this is longitudinal section. You can see all the structure present in the cell. So understood, children? Collenchyma, structure, location and the function. Now next is the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma, here sclerose means hard, so they are the hard tissues, and they are elongated narrow cells with tapering end. In longitudinal section you will see tapering ends are there, pointed end. On maturity they lose their protoplasm and become dead. So you can say the sclerenchyma is made up of the dead cells, because cells on maturity they lose their protoplasm and become dead. Cell wall is very thick. You can see the thickness is throughout the their cell wall, not at particular place. In the collenchyma we have seen at the corners. Here cell wall is thick, and cell wall is thick throughout the periphery here, and it is thick due to deposition of lignin. Spatial tissue, there spatial that substance is present in it, that is lignin, which acts as a cement, and that lignified cell wall, it provides the hardness to it. So this lignin provides hardness. Central cavity is highly reduced, you can see, due to the formation of secondary thickening. Now the sclerenchyma tissue is of two types, fibers and sclerid. The long, this is the fiber and this is the sclerids. You can see the shape is little different. They are found in the stems and veins of the leaf. Veins, venation you have studied in the leaf, reticulate venation and the parallel venation. So veins are present in the leaf, in the veins they are present in sclerenchyma and in the stem also. What is the function? We can understand, provide mechanical strength, because this lignified thick cell wall makes them hard, tough, So provide strength to the plant part, protects the plant from environmental forces like strong winds, and makes the plant hard and stiff. The husk of coconut is made up of sclerenchyma tissue. The outer that layer of the coconut you have seen, that is made up of the sclerenchyma tissue. And these are the sclerids. Sclerids is a type of sclerenchyma tissue. It forms a major part of walnut shells and other nuts. You know, nuts, they also have the hard covering. So it is found in them, and they form an important part of the bark of the trees also. Sclerids, they are present in the bark, outermost hard covering of the trees. They provide grittiness to the pulp of fruits also, and provide strength to the seed covering. So this is the location of this sclerids, that type of sclerenchyma tissue. And each of the parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, they all are made up of one type of cell and perform similar function. So they are called as simple permanent tissue. Understand the difference between, because next we will have the complex permanent. So simple permanent tissue made up of one type of cell and perform similar function. That is why they are simple permanent tissues. Now next we will see the simple permanent tissue, protective tissue. Protective tissue, basically they are for the protection, and one of this is epidermis. Epidermis is outermost protective with thick walled cells, and means their cell wall is thick and covered with cutin. Cutin is an organic substance, and due to that it greatly reduces loss of water by transpiration. So due to this cutin, loss of water cannot take place by the process of transpiration. So you can see here the cuticle present in the outermost layer. Next, wax is also present. So wax is also present on the upper surface of floating leaves, like the plant which survive in water. So on floating leaves, protect them from wetting in hydrophytes basically. So this cuticle, above this cuticle, waxy layer is also found in the plants, which prevents them wetting, do not allow the water to enter to them. So epidermis. The next protective tissue is the cork. What is cork? As roots and stem they grow older with time, protective tissues at the periphery, means their outer side, undergoes changes and becomes cork cells. And cork in mature woody stem made up of dead, thick walled and highly suberized, means suberin is the substance which is deposited in the cells and protect the inner tissues. So you have seen the cork in the older trees also. This is the example of the cork. The bark is there and it protects the inner tissues, and it provides insulation also from the freezing temperature. When the temperature goes down, then at that time also this cork, it protects the different plant parts. So understood children? Simple permanent tissue, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma and the protective tissue. Now we will see the complex permanent tissue. As I said you, the simple permanent tissue is made up of one type of cell and similar function. Complex permanent tissue made up of more than one type of cells. They are the group of cells have different functions, but they work in close coordination to perform a common function. So they are the conducting tissue or complex permanent tissue. These tissues are also known as vascular tissues, provide a channel for movement of water and dissolved minerals up and down the plant. So these tissues, they are responsible to conduct water and mineral and food also. So they are known as the vascular tissues also. They are known as the conducting tissue also, as they conduct all the substances in the plant parts. Main complex tissues are there, xylem and phloem. So let me see what are the xylem and phloem conducting tissues, their components and their function. So you know, in the previous classes you studied that the xylem transports water and minerals from roots to leaves. So it contains the different components, and it forms a part of vascular bundle. So vascular bundle in the plants, they are made up of two tissues, xylem and phloem, basically xylem and phloem. So xylem is a complex tissue, forms a part of a vascular bundle concerned with the function of conduction of water and minerals. It also provides mechanical support to the plant. So the cells of the xylem, they are thick-walled conducting strand, and in the xylem there are four types of cells. These four types of cells are there: xylem vessels, tracheids, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Vessels, tracheids, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. So let me see these different structures. Here these vessels and the tracheids, they are long tube like structure. You can see vessels and the tracheids, they are long tube like structures with hard and thick walls, and their transverse wall get dissolved and make a continuous tube to transport the water. They help in upward movement of water. Here you can see this is vessel and these are the tracheids. So together they help in the upward movement of water from roots to aerial parts. And when we see the fiber here, xylem fiber, this is the xylem fiber found in woody dicot plants, provide mechanical strength. And the xylem parenchyma, when you see, this is the xylem parenchyma, they are the only living components, because vessels, tracheids and xylem fibers, they are made up of dead cells. Only the xylem parenchyma is the living component, and these are concerned with the storage of food, means they store food and other vital function and help in the conduction of water and mineral. So understood, children? The xylem and its four types of cells and all the functions of all these four types of cells. Vessel and tracheids transport water and mineral, and fiber, it provides supports mechanical strength to the plant body. Parenchyma cells, xylem parenchyma, store food and perform other vital functions. So these are the components of the xylem and their functions. Now here one more thing I want to tell you, that the old xylem tissues forms the wood and does not conduct water or minerals, because old xylem tissues, they do not work, they form the wood, and at the place of old new xylem tissue, they are developed due to secondary growth. Now the complex permanent tissue, next is the phloem. Phloem meaning it is made up of phloos, means bark, and phloem is the food conducting tissue. You know, you have studied in the previous classes. Phloem is the food conducting tissue of the plant, and unlike xylem, materials can move in both direction in phloem, because in xylem one direction from root to the different parts, but in phloem it distributes food in all direction. It is responsible for the downward movement of the food prepared in the leaves to all parts, also upward there. The basic components of the phloem are sieve tubes are there, and the companion cells, phloem parenchyma and the phloem fiber. So here also the four components: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So let me see all these components here. Here, except phloem fibers, these are the phloem fibers, except phloem fibers, which are the dead one, all other members are living one, like sieve plates, companion cells and phloem parenchyma, they all are the living tissues. Now, what are sieve tubes? Let me see through the diagram. Sieve tubes, they are the elongated tubular conducting channels. They are elongated tubular conducting channels which are placed end to end. And what are sieve plate? The sieve plates, they connect the protoplast to the adjacent sieve tube members. So these sieve tube members, they are connected with each other with the sieve plates. Sieve plates means there are the pores present in between them. Through that, all these sieve tubes, they are connected with each other. Companion cells, these companion cells, they lie on the sides of the sieve tube. This is sieve tube component, and on the sides of sieve tubes, the companion cells, they are present. They are closely associated with them. What is the role of companion cell? They help the sieve tubes in conduction of that water and food also, because here the sieve tube, the main function of the sieve tube to conduct the food, and companion cells, they help in the further functioning of the sieve tubes. Now the phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma are ordinary living parenchyma cells and they store the food. These are the parenchyma cells. And phloem fibers are there. This is phloem fiber. Phloem fiber, they are here also providing mechanical strength, and the textile fiber of flax, hemp and jute, they are made up of the phloem fibers. You know, many jute articles are available in the market made up of jute. So this jute is basically phloem fiber. So understood, children? All the elements of the phloem, these are the sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers and their functions. So xylem and phloem together form vascular bundle. For example, veins, which are in continuity with conducting tissue of stem and roots. Where are veins present? Veins, they are present in leaf. They are actually the structure responsible to form venation. So understood, veins which are present in the leaves, they have xylem and phloem, and which are in continuity with the conducting tissue of stem and roots. So students, now read the all topics from the book also, and there are some key terms which I have discussed. So you underline in the book and solve some